Well, now. Hello. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear.
Yeah. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. This is Nitin, and actually I'm the instructor for machine learning techniques course. Today I'm taking the course for Python week 5 open session, where we'll discuss the content about week 5 and we'll solve the practice assignments. I mean the programming practice assignment of week 5. So before jumping to the assignments, let us just briefly cover all those concepts which are covered in week 5. So week 5 is all about the functions, right? User defined functions, how to define the functions and what are actually functions. So can anyone please tell me what is function? The Python function.
A logical code of block to what I can say, execute some task repeatedly or something else.
Yeah, exactly. So it executes some particular task given the parameters. So parameters we have to decide in the function definitions. Python has some inbuilt functions such as print and the shape and length. So you just type print and you just write something our print, then it will execute some tasks for you, right? You just write the function length and given the length of some list, then it gives the counts of number of elements in list, right? So these are the inbuilt function. Python executes some task by itself, right? But we ourselves can define some functions as well. So how to define those functions? Let me share my screen first.
Using def words.
Yeah. So for defining some function, we have to use. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes.
So for defining some function, we have to use the syntax def. So def means we are now going to define our user built functions, and then we have to write our function name. Let's say I'm to define a square function. So it's the function name, and it will take some parameter. Let's say I've given the parameter x. Okay. Now we have the column. We have to take to start the function. Now we have defined our function. The function name is square. So what it will return?
Sir, your voice is not clear, sir. Actually, it's very feeble, sir.
Yes, it's echoing. It sounds as if it's very distant.
Just give me 1 minute. Hello. Is it better now?
No, sir, it is still.
Okay, then I think.
A sort of metallic sound is coming, sir.
Okay, let me check. I think I have to rejoin. Just give me 1 minute. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir. It's
Yes, sir.
much better than the previous version.
Okay, then I have to be focused again. I just wait until I become the host again. Then I'll try sharing my screen. Okay. So is it my screen visible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, so we were talking about the functions. We have defined the functions by using the def syntax def, and then we have to name the function. Here, I have named the function as square. Then the parameter that it should pass. So I'm passing only one parameter, and I'm expecting that this function will return the square of this parameter x. Okay. So what is the square x? X square. So this will return is the key for getting the output from that definition function. So what it will do, whenever I will call the function square function, whenever with some parameter, let's say 5. So what it will return? It will return the square of 5.
You have to print it now, sir.
Yeah, so square 5 will return, and then we have to print square of 5. So it will again print that output of this function. So what actually it is doing, it is actually returning x of square, right? Let's see some other functions as well. So let's say definition of subtraction. Let's say it takes two
Excuse me,
parameters
sir.
a and b. Yes.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. What if I write print instead of return in second line? Could you
Yeah.
please understand the difference? Make sense.
So if you are let's say if you are printing x square, then it will again print 25. So there is difference between return and print. I will come to that after this this thing. Okay. So is this font size okay?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
now
quite clear.
yeah. So function next I'm defining a function. Function name is subtraction. It takes two parameter a and b, and I expect that this function will return the subtractions of a minus b. So what it will return a minus b. Now whenever I will call this function subtractions with another parameter, let's say 5, 2. So what it will return now?
3.
Yeah, so it will return 5, 3, right? So next thing that can I use this output in some other functions rather than returning, let's say it print, rather than returning it print some value a comma a minus b, then it will again give you the same output. So it will give you the same output 3 again, because it's printing a minus b. So what this function is doing, it executes this task. So what is the execution? It is printing some value here. So here is a minus b, so it will print this value. So let's say I'm to run some another code. Let's say I'm to write subtraction. So I have to execute something like that. I'm to execute 5 minus 2, and then some other function. Let's say multiply by some number. Let's say multiply by 2. Okay, so I'm to execute this task. Okay, so
Sir,
5
again,
minus 2 is just.
sorry to disturb, sir. Sir, again, voice started the same like earlier, sir.
So is it for everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, it's maybe because your headphone is like your wire is not working properly. I believe.
Actually, it looks like you're talking from some distant place.
I've changed my headphones now. Is it clear or is still the same?
No, sir. It is still.
No, sir, it's not. Sir.
I think this is the internet. I think connectivity issue. Let me check if I can.
Yes, sir.
Is it fine now?
Very low, sir.
Sorry.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Is it still very low?
Okay, sir. Now, sir. Okay.
Sir, it's okay, sir. We
It is
will.
fine now, sir. It is.
Yeah, we will manage, sir. You just carry on, sir.
Okay, okay. So I was talking about the difference between return and print. So here I'm if I'm printing a minus b, then the task the task that this function execute is just print something that I'm talking about. So here it will print a minus b. So let's say I'm to execute this task. So 5 minus 2 can be executed using this definition function. So let's try to do that. If I try to do subtraction 5 comma 2, and then I just multiply the output of this to 2. So output of this thing should be same as this one, right? So let's try to execute this thing. Now look at this. It is showing the error. The name type, the unsupported operand type for multiplication, because now this is what this function is doing. It is printing something, not returning. What I just want this function to return some value rather than printing. Okay. So rather than printing, if I just return and execute this code and return this code. Now look, now it's showing no error and output as I want it, right? So now returning will return the output.
So your voice is breaking.
So I'm saying that print just execute printing task. But actually what I want the function to return some value. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, sir, when we are doing multiple operation, then that time print will not work.
Sorry.
When we are do multiple operation like addition or multiplication or subtraction or multiplication, subtraction or division, that time print will not work.
Print won't work, huh? No. So my point is that whenever I want to use this output of this function, I want to use output this function in some other function or some other place, then this function should return the value rather than printing. Now look at there. I want to use the output of this function to use this in this expressions. So when I can use whenever this function return rather than printing, then only I can use this function definition. If I use print, then I cannot use this output of this function in another expression.
Okay. Okay, got it, sir.
So this is how you define a function.
Sir, so basically we are just defining new functions which may not be there already.
Try to
in
use
Python.
return rather than print function.
Sir, we're basically defining new functions, and in this way we can define anything, right? Any kind of
Yeah, any kind of function.
operation.
Yeah, operation. So next, let's see, can function itself call the function?
Yes.
Okay, so let's say I'm to for 3 parameter A, B, C. I want A plus B minus C. This expression I want to execute using some function definition. Now, can I use this definition function? Let's say my def function and my function name is some expression. Okay. And now it takes 3 parameter A, B, C. Now I want to use this function definition here. Can I use this definition, this function inside this function?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
so what will be the what it should return? What will be the expression here?
A plus.
A plus.
Call the method subtraction.
Subtraction.
Yeah. B comma.
Subtraction with the parameter B comma. Now what it will, yeah. So now what it will do? Whenever I will call expression function, let's try to call this function. I'm calling this function with 3 parameters. Let's say parameters are 2, 5, 8. Okay, so what will be the output of this?
-1. -1.
-1. So let's try it. Yes, -1. So what's actually happening here? So whenever I'm passing this parameter to 5 and 8 in the definition function, so it will execute this task. So what is the task? It's take the subtractions. Now the function itself calling some other function. So it will call this function. Now what it functions do? This function takes 2 parameter A and B and return the subtraction of these two. So this function will return B minus C. Now what is B minus C? B minus C is -3, and then it will add to 8. So it will be -1. So we can call another function in function definitions. Okay. Let's say we want to execute rather than A plus A minus B, I just want to use A minus B. Okay, it's the same thing. Let my next task is, can I use the same function in the same function definition?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Let's talk about factorial. What is factorial? For n, what is this? What does factorial mean? Factorial is just multiplication of n into n minus 1 up to 1, right? So this is your factorial. Now I want to define a function that will give me the factorial of some function. Let's say this is my function name, and given a parameter n, it should return the factorial of n. So one way to is just return times n minus 1. So we don't know up to what is n, so we have to stop somewhere. So rather than doing this, what we can do, look at this expression. This expression can be rewrite as n into factorial of n, right? Factorial of n minus 1, right? Because factorial of n minus 1 is what? It is n minus 1, n minus 2 up to 1. Again, this n into n minus 1, factorial of n minus 1 can be written as n, and this can be written as n minus 2, n minus 1, and factorial of n minus 2. So there is some recursion happening. So I will use this definition. I will call this function return n minus 1, but it should stop somewhere, right? It will recalling itself, but it should stop somewhere. So where it will stop, where n becomes 1, right? So if n is equal to 1, it should return 1. Okay. So now what will happen? This function will work. So wherever n is 1, it will return 1, and otherwise it will recalling this function and will multiply by with n. So let's see what's happening here. If I am to try to function back of 3, so what will be the output of this? 6. So what's happening here? Let me summarize this thing. Okay, so actually what's happening here? Whenever I'm calling a function, function tag, in defining function tag, then it is, if n is 1, it is returning 1, and otherwise it will return n times factorial of n minus 1. So let's say for factorial 3, what is it will do? It is not, so because here factorial n is not 1, so it will come to here, so it will return 3 times factorial 2, right? Now this function is calling factorial 2. So what is factorial 2? Again it will go to this function definition, because n is not 1 again, so it will return this thing. So this will be n times factorial n minus 1, so this will be 2 times factorial of 1, right? So now now look, this is calling this function. So what is here? N is 1, so it will return 1. So 3 times 2 times 1. Now it is just a simple expression, so output will be 6, right? So function can call its the same function. Okay, this is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's move to the next part. So this is all about how to define a function, can function call itself, and all these things. Can we define default parameters here? Let's say my task is to find.
Sir, I have a question. When we were defining factorial, all the rest of the code would have to be indented to the right, yeah? It would be within this.
Yeah, this all things should be
Sir, I
indented.
can't hear you.
So all these things should be indented inside the function definition.
Sir, you're not audible. I don't know it's me or what. I can't hear you.
I think he is conveying
We are
you
not
that.
able to hear. Sir.
Oh, so it's my problem.
No, even I am not able to hear.
Me too.
I have also problem with it.
I can hear you well, sir. You are audible.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So actually, I think this is the connectivity issue with me, not from your side.
Sir, your voice seems like coming and going, sir. Just like totally, I mean, breaking, sir, your voice.
I can understand that. I think it's the issue from my side. This is the problem with my internet connectivity. So this time I'm not in the office, so I'm using, I'm taking the session from home. So I think you have to bear with my voice now. Is it not at all understandable?
No, sir, now it's fine.
Now
No,
it's
it's
fine, sir.
fine.
Slightly
We could
louder
make it.
would be fine, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try to be louder. So what I was talking about, can we define some function and can we give the parameters as some default values? Let's say my task is to find my next function is let's say multiplication of two numbers. Let's say the function name is mul, and it takes two parameter a comma b, and it should return multiplication of a. So whenever I will call some this function name with some parameters 2 comma 3. So what it will do, let's rather than multiplication, let's say your task is to subtraction. So This subs is your function. Okay, we already defined. Let's again define this a minus b. So what this function will do? Here it will a will be taken as 2 and b will be taken as 3. So this takes parameter in the sequence. Okay, so it will subtract 2 minus 3. It will return the expression 2 minus 3. But what can I do? That 2 will be taken as b and a will be taken as 3. So for doing that, I have to explicitly define these parameters. Let's say b is 2 and a equal to 3. Can this function will work now?
No, sir.
Why not?
Because position of both the parameters has been changed.
So now it's working. Look at this function. So here, if I'm defining in the function definition a and b, and it return a minus b. Now in the function definition, if I say that a is 3, b is 2, then it will take a as 3, not as 2. If I don't define those functions explicitly, then it will take in the order. So here it will take a as 2 and b as 3. But if I define it to be in the b equal to 2, a equal to 1, then it will take a as 3 and b equal to 2. Okay, so we can explicitly define our parameters, but number of parameters should be same. If I say, let's say I define some other parameter, now it will throw an error because the function's definition should have only 2 parameters, which is a and b.
So
Okay,
in this,
now it
a
is
will
saying,
take the value of 2, sir. When you put b equals 2, a will take the value of 2 and b the value of 3.
No, if I say b equal to 2, a equal to 3, then here a will take 3 and b will take 2. That I am explicitly defining.
Okay.
Okay, so it will return 3 minus 2.
Okay. So there the sequence doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or
So
when
let's
once
say once you explicitly have defined all these parameters, then the sequence doesn't matter. If you won't define explicitly, then the sequence will matter.
Sir, we have to define all the 2 parameters. Suppose if we say b is equals to 2 and comma 3, then what will happen?
Then let's try to execute this. Now it will give you the error because it doesn't know what is 3 here. So we have to explicitly define what is 3. It is a.
Okay, sir.
So
Thank
in the
you, sir.
function definition, first parameter is a. But if we have already defined explicitly, then it will work. Okay. Now my next target is can I define some default value? Let's say my default value is 6. Okay. So here what this function will return now? Let's say 2, 3. What this function will return now?
-1.
Okay.
It will return -1.
What if I don't provide the second parameter here?
-4.
Why -4?
Because you have defined b equals to 6, which is a default parameter. So in case which we don't provide the value for a b, it will take the by default defined value.
Yeah, so by default it will take b as 6, right? If we are defining parameter b, then it will take that parameter. If I am defining, let's say it's 4, then it will take b as 4. If I don't define b, then it by default it will take b as 6. Okay, so we can define default value in the definition functions as well. Okay, so any doubts up to here?
Yes, sir. Sir, if we execute the code, the function means if we call the function and define a is equal to 4, comma 3, it doesn't print. Like I'm doing it in order, means a comma b. If yes, a is equal to 2, a is equal to 4, and b is equal to and comma 3, not b. I'm not defining the this explicitly. And a comma b should not be 6, means here the above it should be a comma b only, where we define the function.
Yeah, so once you have started defining your parameter explicitly, then we have to define what is 3 here.
No, sir, I'm saying where I'm not defining at all, means a comma b, I'm putting just a comma b, where the function I'm defining the function. the top line define. I'm defining the function.
Yeah.
I'm just saying a comma b. B is nothing. I'm not defining here.
Okay.
Yes. And now here, when I'm calling the function, and when I say a is equal to 4, comma 3, still it's not executing. A is equal to 4, comma 3.
Yeah, because you have to define what is b here. What is 3 here? Once you
So it's not taking the default.
Because I didn't define any default values. Even if you define default values, you have to explicitly define what is 3 here. Because you have started defining a parameter explicitly. So you have to define this is your p.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I was just running this in VS Code, Visual Studio. What is happening is, like, if I say, if I define subtraction like this, and if I just say subtraction a comma b, it does not print any output at all. But if I say print subtraction, only then it's printing. How come in your
No, it's a Google. I think the Google Colab provides this functionality. Otherwise, if it is only returning, then you have to use the function definition print. Otherwise, it will not print.
Okay.
So it's a functionality of the Google Colab.
Yeah, basically it's the functionality of any notebook.
Yeah.
Notebook meaning?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Like we will discuss this notebook. Like notebook is a file like Jupyter on. You are running your code in an IDE. This is the integrated development environment. And similar to that, we have a notebook where we have inbuilt print statement, which prints all the results. But whatever you are running in IDE, you have to write explicitly print.
Okay, thank you.
I have a doubt here. In any function subtraction, we given 2 dots, and if for else every line there is 2 dots at last. But in return, print, and subtraction, the 2 dots are not there. Actually, what it the 2 dots, what it represents.
So you want 2 dots to be here, right? This column.
Yeah.
No. So this is the particular syntax that you have to follow. So here this is def, then you have to write function name, the parameters, and then you have to use this column. This is the syntax that you have to follow. Otherwise, Python won't understand what's happening there. If you don't write, then Python won't understand what's actually this is. If you write colon here, only then Python will understand this is your user-defined function. Get 2 parameters here.
Yeah, same sub we have given subs a is equal to 4, b is equal to 3. There we didn't give any dots.
No. Now I'm calling the function. I'm not defining function. I'm calling the function. Right?
So can I try?
Yes.
So basically the idea here is we provide the colon wherever we have to associate some further lines of code. So if we have written here subs a comma b colon because we want that return to be a part of that subs. Okay. The similar things we did with the if and else also. What we do, we write if with condition then colon, because after the statement which we want to write, we want to associate with the if block. So in a Python, when we want certain code to be associated with some lines, or like here in case of function or in a if else block, then we write with colon. Colon says that now what is you are going to write next. Sorry. You got the point? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, so colon says that what you are going to write next will be a part of this particular what you have written before. So after colon, we wrote return a minus b, means it's the part of subs. And that's the reason we have provided the tab before it.
Okay, so yeah, thanks. This is the right way to say what the colon does. So who asked this question?
Yeah, myself, sir.
So is it clear now?
Yeah, very much. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, sir. So what is left in week 5? Yes, one thing is global and local variable, right? We have covered also what is local variable and global variable. So for understanding that, let's see some example. Let's say my variable is x is equal to 5. and I'm defining some function. Let's say my function is there. Let's say what function? Let's say division. Division with two parameters. Let's say x, comma. Let's say only x parameter, and it should return x divided by 2. So what if I call this division? Let's say x is 5 here, x is 6 here. What if I this call this division function? Or say your x is now x has become x by 2 rather than x. X has I'm redefining x, and x has become x by 2 rather than x, and then returning x. Okay, so what this function will do now? Let's say I'm calling this function with some parameter. Let's say x I'm defining to be 6. So what will be the output of this code? What will be the output of this code?
3.
3, sir.
6.
Sorry.
Here it will be.
What will be the output of this code?
3.0.
3.0. Okay. Let's print this time. Let's print division x, and let's say print x. So what will be the output of these two lines?
1.5.
Same.
In float, sir.
No.
The first one is
First is
3.5
0.
1.5.
and second one is 6.
6.
Okay, so let's try to run this code. Now look at the first code is returning 3.0. So division x is actually returning 3.0. That is expected because it redefining x to x by 2 and then return x. Right. So whenever I'm passing x here, so it is taken as 6. So it will redefine this x to be x by 2. So it will now x will become 3.0 because it's a float value now, and will return that x. So x has become 3 now, so it will return 3.0. But by print of x is returning 6 here.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, your voice is interrupting.
Okay.
This is non.
Hello.
Yes. So this time I think I cannot do anything about this problem because this is internet connectivity issue with me. Is it very bad or?
I'm fine.
Hello.
It is not very bad, sir. It is okay. Please go ahead, sir.
It's okay, sir. Please
It is
carry
okay,
on.
sir. It is okay, sir.
Okay. So my point is why x is printing 6 here because x has already been redefined here. X is equal to x by 2. Then why is printing x as 6, not by 3.0, 3.0?
Because the x which you have created inside the function is a local variable.
Yeah, exactly. Because this x by 2 is only for this function definition. Whenever I call this function, then it will redefine x. Otherwise, in outer area, outside of this function, x will remain the same. Okay, so this is called a local variable. X. This is here. It is the local variable. But if I say it is global x, then this x will change. Okay, this I have to remove. Now look, because I am defining global x, so it means whatever x is outside of this code, it will be taken inside. Okay, so x is 6 here, and global x, so it will take x from the outside of this function, and then we define x to x by 2, and this function will return x. And since this is global x, so x is already been defined to 3.0. So whenever I will call this function and will print this function, both are same. This is again x, which has becomes 3.0, and this again 3.0. So both output will be same. So this is the difference between local and global variable.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the brief introduction of week 5 content. So now let's move to the assignments. Sorry.
What is the global variable?
I'm not able to understand you. What you're saying?
Yes, sir. Please repeat this
Sir.
concept, sir. Global and local variable.
So before that also, where we define the function subtraction, I just want to ask you, like if we have to explicitly define the variables, then we have to do both. One we cannot do.
Yeah, one we cannot do.
Okay.
Sir,
yes.
sir, most of the time your voice becoming robotic, so there's a lot of difficulty to understand things.
Yeah, I understand that. But I tried all the possibilities from my side. It's still the same.
Yes.
No,
Sometimes
it's improved, sir.
Sometimes it's improved, sometimes it's same, like robot.
Yeah, because just the internet connectivity here.
Yeah.
Sometimes become better, sometimes slow.
Okay.
So can you please repeat this global and local variables?
Okay, so is anyone wants to explain this? What is global and local variables?
So right, I.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, the concept of local and global is till what point that variable will be accessible. So like in sort of term, when we create anything inside a method, like a function. So here, if you see the division, so any variable either you pass as a parameter, like for subs, we are passing A and B. So whatever we define with the method signature, that is considered as a local variable. The point here is it will be accessible or available inside this particular method, like till the block of this method is there. So if you want to access A, B, and if you have not defined anywhere else, then you won't be able to access outside this particular method. So local means it will be confined within that particular function, and global means it can be accessible from anywhere in whole program. Now, the example what you have showed here is what was happening if you have not defined the global here. It was, since the global is accessible anywhere, it is able to access, the function is able to access where we have wrote x equals to x by 2. But when we have assigned to a x, instead of updating the global variable, it is recreating a new local variable with the same name. Okay. That's the reason when we return x, it returned 3.0. And when we were printing x outside the method, after calling the method, then that particular point, instead of looking to this local, since this local is not available now, it was printing the value for a global, which we have defined above at the top, x equals to 6.
So I can understand like the method function used once as a print, not twice or not twice.
Sorry.
Actually, I want to know the method function where I'm using the definition one. It's used only once, print division. The other one is not considered under the method function.
Yeah, so see, whatever the x division, when we call the division method, there we are now writing global x. So global is the keyword which says that now don't create the local variable of x. Now look for the variable which we have already declared globally. So it is now not creating a new one, it's updating the global variable only. Yeah.
Under definition we call, so it's by default it's local. If we defined it's global and shows result likely.
Okay, so like to summarize, I can say that anything you declare outside the method, that will be considered as a global. Anything you declare inside the method, that will be considered as a local.
Got it. Right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I have one more doubt actually. If we have two functions, one together, and above the function is defining x is some 10 or something. Once it became global x, then it will forget everything and it will give only x is equal to 3 from after execution of this particular function, right?
Okay, so you are saying that if after def division we created one more new method and there we are using x, so what that method will consider the x, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then in that case, what we did is by marking that as a global, we have updated the global variable. So now onwards, wherever you access the x, that will consider 3.0 only. Now it has overwritten the global location, like the x equals to 6 has been overwritten by 3.0.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Actually, excuse me.
Yes.
Hello. If we use interchange the print first print x, then print division of function, then it shows the different answer. First, it does.
Here, division is play the role now.
So the point here is when you call print x, that time the division method is not being executed, right? And when the division method is not being executed, then the x by 2 what we are doing to update our global variable, that particular line will not get executed, right? So if it is not being executed, the global variable itself has a value as a 6. That's the reason for the first time it will print 6. Then
So
when you
after
call
calling that function
division,
only, it considers the
correct.
global.
Correct. And after calling that method, you are updating the global variable with 3.02. And once it has updated with 3.02, anywhere you access, it will always print 3.0 only. Sorry. Yeah.
So look at this execution. If I run this code, then it should return x. Now, because I haven't called this function yet, x is 6 now, right? Once I call this function, now x has become 3.0 because here x is global x. And then if I print x, then it will become 3.0 because x has redeclared to 3.0, right? Till this point, I haven't called this function, and this function is this x is still 6. So output should be 6, 3.0, 3.0, right? Got the point?
Yes.
So yeah, thanks Abhi again explaining. Okay. So should we start with the assignments?
Excuse me, sir. One more.
Yes.
Hello. Sir, it is function definition, that is definition of subtraction. In that method, if we default mention a equal to some constant,
okay,
I think for me it won't work, so that's why I asked.
Yeah, so default parameters should go in the last. Okay, so default parameters should go in the last. This is one good point as well. So if I define A as a default, so A should go after B. So first all the parameters which are not taking any default values, and then all the default parameters should be defined. Now it will execute A minus B. If I don't define A to be anything, and let's say I'm defining B to be 3, or simply I'm calling 3, then A will be taken as 2, and it will execute A minus 2 minus 3.
SUBS. I think that is a mistake.
So all the default parameters should go in the last. Okay.
We have a question in chat box.
How do we differentiate local and global variables in function definitions? So for defining global variable, we have to define by using syntax global. If I don't define this global x, then this definition will not work. Now look at this definition function. This should not work because this division function doesn't know what is x. If I provide x as a parameter, then it will return x. Otherwise, because I'm not giving any parameters here, so this definition function doesn't know what is x here. So for using the global x here, I have to tell the function that you have to use the global variable x.
Sir, can I say global also working as a function?
Sorry?
Sir, can I say global also used as working as a function?
You mean is global is a function or not?
No, sir. Can I say global here? Global also used as a function because it changes the nature of the x.
I think ideally, I think whatever you are saying now, ideally it's called as global as a keyword. So you define
so it
this,
has some functionality, no?
Yeah, it's to identify that this x now, even though you have created, it should consider the global one which we have created already. So it's a keyword which signifies that. Yeah, it's not basically a function, it's just a keyword.
Just like def, it is a keyword.
Okay, so it's actually very nice to see your interactions. So I think we should move to the practice assignments now. Otherwise it will be very late. Can you see the assignments?
Yes.
Okay, so this is your first task, first assignment. Here you have to define a function, write a function name factorial that accepts an integer n as an argument. No, default values of global is nothing. If you don't define global, then function don't know what is x here. So in this case here, if I don't say global x here, then the function doesn't know what is x here. You have to give the parameter. If you are not giving parameter, you have to tell this the x what I'm going to use is the globally defined. Okay. Okay. So here we have to write a function called factorial that accepts an integer n. It should return the factorial of n. It should return -1 if n is negative integer. It should return 1 if n is 0. So that we have already seen. Let's try to do this. So what function is saying? Function is factorial n. It should return -1 when n is negative. So if n is negative, it should return. So it should return what? It should return -1, right? If n is equal to 0, it should be 1. Else it should return n times. I can again call the same function factorial n-1, right? Is it fine? Any problem in this code? Let's try to run this. Yeah. So any problem in this code? We have already seen this type of problem in the starting of the session. So whenever you are recalling the function, whenever the same function you are using in the function definition, make sure that this function should terminate. Otherwise, it will show an error. If I'm saying that then I just simply remove these lines and try to execute this code, then it will never execute because this will keep on calling itself factorial n-1. So for let's say for 3, it will call 2, then again it will call 1, it will call 0, it will call -1. So it will never terminate. So whenever you are using this type of recursion functions, always make sure that your function should terminate at some point of time. Okay. Here, understood. 7 by 4. Yes. So any problem in this question?
No, sir.
Okay, so let's move to the second question. Okay, so second question says that
Sir,
right.
sir, one more time, sir. Go back to the previous question, sir.
Okay. Are you copying or what?
It's okay, sir. I just wanted to see one thing. Okay, it's okay, sir. Move forward, sir.
This is your second question. Second question says that write a function called check leap year that accepts an year between 1600 and 90,999 as an argument. It should return true if the year is a leap year and false otherwise. Okay. So what is the criteria for a year to be a leap year that is given here? So a leap year has a total of 366 days instead of usual 365 days. Okay, all this the criteria of to determine if a year is a leap year or not. This is the criteria. If a year is divisible by 100, then it will be a leap year if it is also divisible by 400. Okay, if a year is not divisible by 100, then it will be leap year if it is divisible by 100. So this should be the criteria for leap year. So I'm gonna use this definition. So check leap year. So what will be my code? So I will use the conditions here. So if year is divisible by 100, so let's say if year. So if year is divisible by 100, then I will check that if it is divisible by 400 or not, right? So if I will check if it is divisible by 400. If it is divisible by 400, then if it is divisible by 400, then it's a leap year. Then it should return.
Sir, we don't need to check that it's between the year, both the years, means the extreme points.
Sorry, extreme point that is taken an argument. So we need not to worry about those things. These are that input, the test cases you have been provided. So those will be given between these two. Okay, so if it is this condition says that, then it should be a leap year, so it will return true. Okay, and if not, then it will return false, right? Now, so it is this conditions. It will check the condition if here is divisible by 100 or not. 100. So if it is not divisible by 100, then we have to check whether it is. If it is not divisible by 100, then we have to check whether it is divisible by 4 or not. So we have to check if here is divisible by 4. If it is divisible by 4, then it will be a leap year. Then it should return as Okay. Okay, so any question here? So any doubts in this question? Okay.
I have one question.
Okay.
Can we put another if condition? If year divisible by 4 return true with and below this condition, below if year divisible by 400.
Yeah.
Can be, yes sir, can be put this if year divisible by 4 below this condition with and by adding and if year divisible by 100, if we are divisible by 400 and
using and using and you can use. That is also true. That will also work. Yeah, both conditions you can check simultaneously. You mean, right?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. That also you can use.
Thank you.
So next question is, write a function max12 that accept 3 integers and it should return the maximum among the 3 way numbers. So what will you do for finding this value, this function? So it takes three parameters A, B, and C, and it should return the maximum among these 3 parameters. So how you will find this? There can be different ways, right? So don't just stick to one. You can try your way also. One way I can think, I just check the conditions. If A is less, if A is greater than B, and A is greater than C, then in this case it should return A, right? Because A is greater than both of them. Also, or else I can check the second. Okay, so this is not capital I. This should be small I. So if I can check whether B is greater than A and B is greater than C. In this case, I will return because B is greater than both the numbers. So it will return B now. B will be the maximum. Else, if both the condition is not true, I will just simply return C. Right? There can be different ways to solve this problem. Right? Okay, so let's move to the fourth question. Write a function named time equal that accepts 2 matrices A and B as arguments, and it should return true if the dimensions of both the matrices are equal or the same, and false otherwise. Okay, so how you will check this? Any idea? What is the dimension of matrix? Number of rows into number of columns, right?
Yes. Yes.
So dimension equal means number of rows should be equal to number of rows. I mean both the matrices should have same number of rows and same number of columns. Okay, so it's a list of lists, right? So if I will check. So if it should return if the dimensions of both matrices are same. So if length of A equal to length of B, so it will check number of rows, right? And I need to check the number of columns as well. So length of number of columns, I can simply check the number of this will check number of rows, and for number of columns I will check number of elements in the every rows. this is happening, or you can simply return this. Right?
I think there is an extra bracket. Yeah, length of this will be like this. You have to close 8 bracket 0 length.
This one.
Yes.
Okay. So did you get the point here? So here I'm checking the number of rows, right? And here I'm checking number of columns. So number of columns, to check number of columns, I just check in the very first row how many elements are there. So it will automatically will check how many columns are there. Yes, so all the cases are passed here. So any doubt up to this point?
Okay. I don't have.
Okay, so let's move to the fifth question. Write function in first 3 that accepts a list L of distinct integers as an argument. It should return the first maximum, second maximum, third maximum in the list in this order. You can assume that input list will have a size of at least 3. With what concept of city does this remind you? Okay, so it's very simple. Here you can use the function definition called sorted L. Sorted L will actually will sort the list in the increasing order. Once it is sorted in the increasing order, you can find the first maximum, second maximum, and third maximum. So it is -1, -2, -3. It will return the I see one problem here. What if their 2 maximum elements are 2? Okay, so this is not clear from the question itself. So it should return the first maximum, second maximum, and third maximum. So my point is, let's say list are 1, 2, 3, 3. So your first maximum is 3, second maximum is 3 or 2.
I think they will not provide the test cases like that.
Sorry, yeah,
They will not.
It's not provided here.
In the test case, they will not provide such kind of data.
Okay, so then this function should work. Let's move to the 6th question. Okay, a class of English. So
it will be better if you can give some
not satisfied. Sorry, Ravi, your voice is not clear.
Sir, I was saying if you can give some time to think and solve, then
It's still very faint. I'm not able to understand you.
Can you hear me now? So I was saying that it would be better if you can give some time to solve the problem, and then we can proceed.
Sorry, I'm not able to
Sir, basically the point is here you are solving all the questions and like we could see how it has been done, but I think it might not help us to build our own logic. So what we can do is like you can give us the question, suppose the like this sixth one. We can try for 5 minutes, and if we could not solve, then you can discuss.
Okay, so generally what you follow? I mean, you are supposed to given some time.
Yeah, we
Okay,
try we try the question first, and if you could not solve or someone might have solved in a different way, then we discuss how we have solved or what is the right and how to frame the logic kind of stuff.
So that I didn't know. So I thought I thought you already had thoughts of sense. So you want me to give you some time to solve this question, right?
Yes, and if we are unable to solve, then like anyhow at the end you will solve this one. So even we will try our hands, and then if we could not do,
Okay.
then
So okay. For remaining question, we will follow the same procedure. I didn't know about this. So so let's start with let's follow the same way in the question number 6.
okay.
Okay. So after few minutes, we will solve this question.
Yes, I will try for 5 minutes.
So I think this is solve it now. So anyone want to try this? Anyone who wants to try this one? Hello.
Hi. Yes, sir, we can hear you.
So anyone who wants to try this question? Okay. So we have to define a function called a type of sequence that accepts a list of words as an argument. It returns values. Its returns value is a string that depends on the number of mysterious words in a sequence. Okay, so it takes a list of words. Now we have to check how many words are mysterious in that list, and according to number of lists, we have to return these strings. Okay, so if number of mysterious words is less than 2, then the function should return mildly mysterious. And if the number is greater than or equal to 2 but less than 5, then the function should return moderately mysterious. And if the number of mysterious word is greater than 5, then it should return most mysterious. Okay, so let's first count the number of mysterious words in that list. Okay, so by the way, the function mysterious is already defined, so you need not to worry about this function. So let's just initialize the count list now. Check whether the word is mysterious or not. That word. So L of I. If this is true, then I will just simply increase the count with 1. So this line is clear or not? So what I'm doing here, each and every element of L, I'm checking whether the word is mysterious or not. So if it is mysterious, then I will increase the count. If it is not mysterious, then I will not increase my count. Right now, the count will be my what? Will give the number of mysterious words in the list. Right now, what should function should return? So it should return less than k. If it is less than 2, mildly mysterious. So again, I will use if count is less than 2, it should return the string mildly.
Sir, in line 3, there is the for I in the range.
Oh, sorry. I in range. Next, if count is greater than or equal to 2 and count is less than 5, to return moderately mysterious. And not should return most mysterious. Right? Got the point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's move to the next question. Question number 7.
Sir, could you just show the code again?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Sir, 1 second. Can you please explain line 4?
Line 4, this line.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what question says? Question says if the word is mysterious, I'm to actually count the number of mysterious word in the list A, right? And this function is already defined. So in each and every element of L, I'm checking whether the word is mysterious or not. Okay, so if this is mysterious, then I will increase my count.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Or simply you can say for L in L. So what it will do, it will check. So here L is every element of L. So here I need not to define range.
Okay.
For L in L, I just check whether it is mysterious or not.
Okay. Fine. Got it.
Okay, so let's move to the question number 7. This should be very easy. So just take few minutes to solve this one. Five different functions are here, but very easy functions are. Take your time and solve this. Okay, so should we discuss it now?
Sir, can we wait just 5 minutes?
Okay.
Sir,
Yes,
sir, when will you do quiz 1 questions?
quiz one question. I'm not sure about. Ram is the right person to answer this question. So it's good if you post this question on the discourse.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I think we should discuss the solution of this now. So anyone wants to try this? Hello. Okay, so here we have to define 5 functions, and all the 5 functions accepts a list L. Okay, so first function is empty. So this should return if this function should return true if the list is empty and false otherwise. Okay, so what is your function? Function is def is empty, takes as a list L, and it should return true if the L, if length of L is 0, right? Otherwise false. Second is first. So it should return the first element in the list, and if the and return none otherwise. Okay, so your first, so it should if okay, so if you can use this function itself, and or you can simply check whether length of L is 0 or not. I'm using this function. You can use anything. If this is true, this should return none. Otherwise, it should return the first element. What is the first element? L of 0. L of 0, right? Next function is last. So the function should return the last element if the list is non-empty and return none otherwise. Okay, so I can use this function. Copy.
इसके बाद वो चुप हो गए यहाँ के ये फिर बोलने लग गए आलू भी गजब बहस है अरे यार मर रही है
Guys, can you go on mute, please?
गवर्नमेंट ने क्या किया
Okay, first, and I can use the last. It's empty none, and otherwise it should return the last element. So what should be the last element?
-1.
Right. Next function is in it. It should return the first n minus 1 elements. The list is non-empty and has size n. Return none otherwise. Okay. So we have to define function in it, the same parameter, and if it's empty of L, then it should return none. Else it should return the first 5 elements, right? So all the elements up to -1, right? Next function is rest. Okay, so what rest does? Rest return last 10 - 1 elements if the list is non-empty, and return none if L has none. Otherwise, not that L has just one element. Rest L return empty list. Okay, so same kind of function is this. Can copy paste it. V. So what should be here? I am to return all the last 5 elements. So what should I write here?
0 minus 1.
Sorry?
Sir, 1.
1. I'm excluding the very first element. Okay, so all the cases are passed. So any doubt here? These are very simple questions. I think you all should have done this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now let's move to the question number 8. Okay, so this is about Fibonacci sequence. So I think you all know about Fibonacci sequence. Read the question and try this out.
Sir, for a second, can you go back to last question?
Yeah.
This one.
Sir, scroll down a bit, sir.
What's your doubt?
Sir, last line. I just wanted to see last line, sir. Oh, okay. One you have taken. Okay, got it, sir.
Okay. So let's move to the question number 8. Write a recursive function named Fibo that accepts an positive integer n as an argument and returns the nth Fibonacci number. Okay, so I suppose you all know about the Fibonacci sequence. You just keep on adding last 2 numbers. So first number is 1, second number is 1, the third number will be 1 plus 1. That is 2. Fourth number will be a sum of last 2 numbers. Right? So 1 plus 2, 3, then 2 plus 3, 5, then 5 plus 3, 8, something like that. It goes on. So it takes integer n as an argument and returns the nth Fibonacci number. So here you can use recursion. Okay, so should we discuss it now? Because of how you will go about this question, I just told you use the recursion function. I think that should be pretty easy. You can call the function itself, right? So what is Fibonacci sequence? Anyone?
So we'll keep on adding the current and the previous.
The last two digits you can keep on adding, right? So first element is 1, second element is 1. So third element will be addition of first and second element, that is 2. The fourth element will be the last two addition, 2 plus 1. This will be fourth element, right? So you are actually adding the last two elements. So what you can do, you can just return Fibo last two elements for nth element, sum of last two elements, n minus 2 plus Fibo n minus 1. But now it should terminate at some point of time, right? It not always keep on calling itself. So we know that the very first element and the second element is 1, right? So if n equal to 1 or n equal to 2, it should return 1, right? Now whatever the n is, it will give you the sum of last two elements. So it will keep on recalling itself till n becomes 1 and n becomes 2, right? So any doubt in this question? You are not subscribed to this course. Give me 1 minute. So what was this? If n equal to 1 or n equal to 2, okay. So any doubt in this question? Okay, not then we can move to the question number 9. To try this question, it's very easy. You have to define two functions, get column and get rows. In get columns, you should return, okay, and one other parameter takes as math, and one other parameter is take as call. So it should return the call the index at call, the row, the column which is at the index call. And same for get row. Okay, so now how you will
So I have one
solve this
question.
question? Get row is very easy, right? Yes.
So for function, it is necessary that we use parentheses.
Yeah. Yeah. Parenthesis.
But sir, in previous
must be there.
question, you have used
This parenthesis
def
you are
first.
talking about, right?
Yes, sir.
Which,
Yes, sir.
which
I'm
question?
talking about. So
Yeah,
that
yeah, this
first
must be
class
there.
need. But in that question, sir, you have used
No,
def first. You have not used parentheses.
No, I used. Here I've used the first
Okay,
time.
okay, sir. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So how you will solve this question? Get row is very easy, right? So get row is simply, let's say get row. Same parameter met and I think row here, right? So what will be the what it should return? It should return the row at the ith index. I mean the row at index. So this can simply can return met at the rowth index, right? But for in the case of column, what should I do? Let's say I just start my list with say output list with the empty list. Okay, so this is my empty list, and let's say dimension is what? It's just length of mat, right? Now for I in range dim, I just out this I will append. What I will append? What should I append here?
Mat I
Column,
call.
right? Column. So which row? Every
I,
row.
yes,
At
sir.
which column?
Call.
Call, right? And once it is done for every row, I can simply return the list.
Out list.
So any problem here?
No, sir.
Okay, so if I run this, so look, all the cases are passed. So any doubts in this question? Okay, so let's move to the last question, question number 10. So now the question is very easy, one line question, but there is one condition in this question. The question says that don't disturb the original list. The original list should not be disturbed in this process. So you're not supposed to make any changes in the list. Okay. So what is the function? Function name is insert that accept if sorted list. So L, the input list is given to be sorted. Sorted means all the elements are in the increasing order. And an integer x as an input. So these are two inputs here. The function should return a list with the element x inserted in the list L at the right place in the input list. So at the right place means the list should be sorted. No, the quiz one discussion will be on next session. In this session, we are not going to discuss this. Okay, so try this question and keep in mind that the original list should not be disturbed. You are not supposed to write any function to the list. Okay. So should we discuss or you want more time? Okay, I think we should discuss it now. So def insert LX. So L is sorted here, and I'm to insert X as the right place. Okay. So I need to make any changes in L. So what I will do, I will just start a new list. Let's say out list, the empty list. Okay. Now for L in L, right? I will append. And I will just take the empty list and will append it L, right? But I'm to append X at the right place. So I will check the conditions that if L is greater than X, if L is greater than X, that is first I have to append X, then L. So out list dot append X. So whenever any element is greater than X, then first I have to append X, then I have to append L, right? So this is the code for that. But should this code work fine or not? Anyone? Will this code work fine or not? Am I audible?
We are not appending for else. We are
sorry. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
So this code will work fine or not? Just look at the condition here. It is checking each and every element of L one by one, right? And the condition is L is greater than X, then it will append X. So remember that it once it is appended, but once X is appended, every next element of L, this condition will be true, and X will append every time, right? That I don't want. I want X to be inserted only once, then I don't want that to be append, right? So not to append again and again, what I will do, I will check whether it is inserted or not. So first I'm checking inserted is true, and I will, rather than checking only this condition, I will check if not inserted. If not inserted and this condition, both condition I will check. If not inserted, so remember inserted is said to be true. So not inserted, and so it should be false, right? So not inserted will say it is not inserted now, and L is greater than X, and once it is appended, I will set inserted to be false, to be true. Now, so once it is appended, inserted will become true, and for the next element, the not inserted will become false, and this condition will become false, and this will not executed, and it will come out of the condition and will append that element, right? Append L. This is not L. This is L. Okay. So once this is done, I can simply return my list, right? So any doubt here? Let me
Yes,
check whether
sir.
it
I
works
don't
fine or not.
understand why we are doing greater than L is greater than X. Could you just show it on the whiteboard how it is working?
Okay. So what is the question? What do you understand by the question?
Basically, that we have a sorted list and we have been given an integer that we have to put it in the same order.
Can you see the whiteboard?
Yes.
So actually your task is you have been given a sorted list and an element, and you have to put that element at the right place. So let's say your list is 1, 5, 9, 12, 18, 20, something like that. An element is given to you 15. So where that 15 will lie? The 15 will go here. So 1, 5, 9, 12, 15, 18, 20. This should be my output list, right? Right. So what I'm doing, I cannot make any changes in this list. Otherwise, it will be it just append it and sort it again. I'm done. But I'm restricted to use this list again, right? I cannot make any changes in this list. So what I will do, I will start my list with an empty list. Let's say out list is my empty list. Okay, and for each, I will check for every element of L. Okay, so for L in L, I will simply append that element, those elements, right? I will append out list that element L. But I have to make sure that this 15 comes at the right place. Okay, so I will check the conditions that if L is greater than X. So once L is greater than X, that X should come first. X should be appended first. Let's say 15 is done. So here L is 1, 15 is 1. So what should be appended? L should be appended. So this condition is not true. So it will not execute this part. So here it is out list dot append L, right? Okay. So for each and every element, if this condition is not true, this code will not execute, and it will execute this thing. So it will execute. So here what will happen? Here it will check for first element, for L in L. So for the very first element 1, it will check this condition, whether this condition holding or not. This condition is not holding because 1 is less than 15, right? So it will not execute this part. So it will execute this part, and it will append 1 in this list, empty list. Now it will check for the second element 5. Now 5 is greater than X or not? It's not. So it will not execute this part again, and will execute this. So it will again 5.
It will continue till 12.
Up to 12, it will fail. Now once the 15 comes, once the 18 comes, right? Once the 18s come, this condition becomes true.
Right.
So rather than, okay, it's L, it's X, not L. Okay, so once this condition becomes true, we are appending X now. We are appending 15 now. Okay.
And we'll still append 18.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it possible in any way to use less than condition? Would that work in any way?
Less than X. Then how you will? Yeah, that also you can do that. But you have to take care of the logic. What logic you are using? Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
once 15 is appended, it will come out of this conditions and will append L as well, right? Because we are inside the loop now. So it will append it.
Yes.
Again, now check. It will go for 20, and it holds. This condition is still holds. So it will again append 15, right? So I don't want this to append again.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
So for that, I just let me go to the phone now. Can you see the code?
No. I can see a whiteboard.
Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
Right. So make sure that X doesn't insert it again. What I'm saying, I'm setting inserted to be false. So every time once it is appended, I will set inserted to the true, right? So every time once it is appended, the not inserted will become false, and this conditions will become false, and this part of code will not execute then, right? There is one more one possible part that we are missing. Let's say in the same code, the input is given in this manner. Let's say the same list, and the x is given to be 21. X is given to be 21. Then 21 will be inserted at the last, right?
Yes.
In that case, this particular code will never show true.
Yes.
Right? Because here it was not inserted. So X is not inserted at all.
Yes.
So that part I have to take care of that. Right. So for that part, what I will do, if it is not inserted, so if X is not inserted is still false. So I will check if not inserted. I will check only this condition, and it means that we have gone through all the elements in L, and it is not inserted yet. So this will go here. Out list. I will append L. Done.
X.
Got the point of this
X.
particular
Append
line?
X, I suppose. X.
Append X. Yeah. Sorry, X. Yeah. Right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So any doubt here? Okay, so solve, if you haven't solved these questions, solve by yourself, and if you stuck, then only go to the solutions. Okay, so this is all about today's sessions. If you have any doubts, any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, we can close it now. Quiz questions will be discussed in the maybe next session or in any other session.
We are not able to hear you at the end, sir.
So this
I'm
working in my.
Just saying. Sorry.
So this code is not working in my system, sir.
Which code?
So the code you have typed just now. Can you
The last one.
Yeah, last one, sir.
This code.
Yeah.
So what is the wrong in that?
Sir, I have typed the same thing, whatever you have typed.
There must be some mistake. Otherwise, it should. In my case, it is running correctly. All cases are passed. Just check one by one. You may be making some mistake there.
Anyway, sir, I will check later on. Sir, I have a doubt in one question, sir.
Okay.
Sir, in question number 6 and 7, sir, from week 1 graded assignment, sir. Actually, I know it is. I mean, the code is about slicing, sir. But the answer, how did the answer come? I didn't get it, sir.
So 1 minute. Actually, I'm not the right person to answer all these questions because I'm not familiar with the content of Python course. Actually, I'm the instructor for machine learning techniques course. This time I'm taking session only for week 5. So maybe some Ram or some other instructor will be the right person to answer your all other queries. So if you have any queries regarding week 5, I can answer because I'm not familiar with another weeks.
Can you show the code for PPA5?
PPA5. Okay. PP5 is the simplest one, right? Just sort the list and return the element at -1, -2, -3.
Sir, how much relevance is there for ML with this particular weak contents?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Can you
how
please repeat?
important? Yeah, how important it is the weak content for ML programming?
MLF. In MLF, we are not using any programming language. In MLT and MLP, we are using. So Python will be used extensively in MLT and MLP both.
Okay, any special instructions from your side, sir, for us?
So keep on practicing. These are very basic codes of Python. So keep practicing questions. If not from the portal, from other sites as well, other resources as well. But this should be these basics ideas should be clear in your head, because in the MLT course you will be using some different libraries called NumPy, Pandas, and Matplotlib. These all. So there you are supposed to do it by yourself. Some material will be given by us for sure, but you are supposed to understand the basic syntax, basic functions, and all. So this course will help you a lot. Okay, so keep in touch with Python every time. Otherwise, all the things will be messy.
Sir, in fact, in the videos what I have watched and all, even though all the libraries are available, still we need to know this one. So we are going through all these difficulties. Even though all these ones are available readily in the NumPy, Pandas kind of things, sir. But why? I mean to say, probably you can answer that one very well. I believe, sir.
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
While teaching, Iyengar sir said that all these ones are readily available in the NumPy kind of libraries. Still, we need to go through these basic steps kind of thing. So,
yeah, obviously we have to.
Why kind of thing you may be able to explain us very well, sir?
It's breaking a lot. Your voice is breaking a lot. I think it's a mistake. It's an issue from my side or not. But your voice is breaking a lot.
Right, sir. Leave it. Thank you.
Sir, can you show the last code, sir? Once more.
Last code.
PPA10, sir. Okay, sir. Done, sir.
Okay.
Sir, could you show PPS7?
So are you copying this or what?
No, I was practicing and
No,
I'm
actually
stuck.
not copying, sir,
I'm
but,
stuck.
I'm
stuck. I was coding myself, but I'm stuck.
Yes, same here, sir. Actually,
In rest, I'm not able to do rest.
Sir, even I was like typing my code, sir, but some mistake happened. So I mean, try to rectify from your code, sir.
Okay. So whenever you're debugging, try to check by yourself, not look for the solutions. Okay, so it will be better if you do by yourself. Try to find out the mistakes. What can go wrong?
Could you scroll down? Okay.
So did you find a mistake?
Yeah, I didn't know how to go to the last index. I got confused. I'd forgotten it. You just leave it blank.
This one?
Yeah, I forgot this.
Okay. So I think we should close the session now. So thank you everyone and good night.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
We should close it now.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night.